Chaos is not random. And if you keep finding yourself broke and fighting with people or overwhelmed by daily life, that can be a sign of old trauma patterns. Now, when you grew up around instability, parents fighting, people disappearing, sudden explosions of anger, your whole system learned to expect more of the same. And then, as an adult, even when you want stability and you've worked hard to create stability, you can feel sucked back into that chaos vortex. It doesn't mean you're doomed, but if you don't interrupt the pattern, the chaos can turn into the thing that runs your life. Now, for a lot of women, instability doesn't just creep into one part of life. It's everywhere. It's in relationships full of conflict or that swing from hot to cold. It's in relationships full of conflict or that swing from hot to cold, in money that never feels steady, in jobs that burn you out. It's in the day-to-day scramble where no matter how much you do, you never quite catch up. Now, you can get organized for a while. The house looks clean, the bills are paid, you even feel on top of things at work, but then it slides back into disorder. And the harder you push, the more exhausting it feels. Now, you might be hard on yourself thinking you're just lazy, but this is something different. It's a pattern where it gets really intense and crazy for a while, and then when things do calm down, instead of relief, you get like a knot in your stomach. You're waiting for something to go wrong. Without even realizing it, you find yourself like back in the chaos cycle again, at home, at work, in your relationships. You may not consciously want the chaos at all, and you believe that it just keeps happening to you. But the truth is, in a way you can't quite detect, you're somehow creating it. Because no matter what the source of the problem seems to be, the common denominator in all the seemingly random upsets is you. Now, it's not your fault what happened to you when you were a kid, and it's totally normal for trauma in childhood to result in chaos when you're an adult. But now that you are an adult, you're the only one who can change what this is doing to you. And facing this part of it is hard, I know. A lot of people will never get past blaming every person and every circumstance for the constant drama in their lives. But if you really want the chaos to change, you've got to bring your focus onto present time and look for any areas where you play a role. Because this is the only thing you have the direct power to change. Now, in my adult life, I've had 3 or 4 periods of what I'd call trauma storms. Have you heard me say that? That's my word for when so many bad things happen at once that you can't really hold it together and your life falls apart. And they almost always involved the end of a relationship, and they usually involved a medical crisis too. And one time it was getting attacked on the street, getting my heart broken, and having my mother die all in the same few months. Another time it was going through an incredibly hard grad school experience that was like an exhausting hazing process for 2 years straight, and then the sudden death of a boyfriend at the end of that, and getting Graves' disease and needing radioactive iodine therapy and having half my hair fall out, all within about a month. I can think of 4 cycles like this that I've been through, almost unbearable times in life, so bad I can barely remember the details unless I really try. Like I've blocked it out. But what I remember acutely is that after each burst of trauma burned through my life, I was left in what a lot of people would call a dark night of the soul. I think you're only supposed to have one, but I've had several. I was bereaved, I was alone, and I was hopeless about life. Now, within a few months, each of those dark nights and trauma storm aftermath periods became something totally different. They became joyous, productive, transformative, some of the best times of my life. The period where I was sad is like withdrawal from chaos. When it ends, it drains you of that false fuel. And for a while, it's very hard to pick yourself up. But in that monastic and still and empty time comes clarity and genuine energy and the inner power to take your next steps. So much of my growth happened in those post-trauma periods. The risk, though, if you grew up like I did, is that these bursts of growth and living your best life can get boring. There's like an emptiness inside that builds up until you have a strange kind of blind spot. Like everything's good. Where's the emotion? Where's the feeling? And your red flag detector switches off. And then before you know it, the chaos gets back in. And at first, all you know is that it feels real. Things feel real. A little chaos. It's exciting. I'm connecting with the world. It feels like coming home to something even. And then it turns ugly and miserable. And if some trauma hits you from outside, like an injury or the death of a loved one, it'll tear down all the progress you've made. And the cycle repeats. So here's what I finally figured out. It's a paradox. Chaos can feel powerful. The urgency, the motion, the drama, it feels like fuel. But it's counterfeit fuel. It eats up the same energy that you could have used to build something in your life. And the moment you start replacing that false energy with real order, what shows up isn't boredom. It's insight, it's clarity, it's focus and creativity that you didn't even know you had. When your life is in good working order, progress happens very quickly. But it's a hard climb to get from a point where your life has fallen apart to that sweet spot where you're running on all 4 cylinders and moving forward. And this is why so many women live in chaos, not because they want to, but because they're so depleted from the chaos that was already going on that this fake form of energy that chaos delivers feels easier to grab than the real thing. It's like candy when you need protein. It feels good at first, and then it leaves you with nothing. So it can feel like you're stuck. And by the way, a great first step to get out of that and get into your mind a happy future, to be able to see it, is this exercise that I call 1 year to heal, where you imagine if you had to change your life and you only had 1 year to do it, what would you do? Now, of course, healing is a lifelong process, but this exercise can help you access the knowledge you already have inside you about what you need to do. And I have instructions on how to do this exercise in a free PDF that you can download. And I'll put the link in the top line of the description section below this video. So, how does chaos get into your life? Some women overload themselves by carrying everyone else's responsibilities, their siblings, partners, coworkers. Saying no feels uncomfortable, so they keep saying yes until their own lives collapse. Other women will stay in relationships that are exciting but unstable. The roller coaster feels like passion, but it swallows the energy that should have gone into building real love and real trust, which might not be possible in the current relationship. And yet, leaving feels like more than you can handle. Money chaos can be its own addiction. Under-earning, overspending, rescuing others, ignoring bills. It creates constant urgency that feels alive, even as it drains your future. And then there's avoidance. Hours lost scrolling, researching things, cleaning things that don't matter, all to dodge the one task that would actually move your life forward. The problem doesn't go away. It waits, it grows, and sometimes the sabotage is even more subtle. You finally get a good opportunity, and then you procrastinate until it slips away. Or you pick a fight just when things are starting to go well. Anything to drag yourself back to what feels familiar. All these patterns burn up the same resources, your energy, your confidence, your focus. And the moment you stop feeding them, that energy is freed up for what you actually want to create. So how do you cut off the counterfeit fuel and reclaim that energy? I'll tell you, you go straight at the behaviors that keep chaos alive. All right, the first thing that you can do, end drama with people who live in it. If someone stirs conflict and keeps you guessing or constantly pulls you into their problems, stop engaging. Leave the room. Stop answering. End the relationship if you need to. Nothing changes while you're still letting chaotic people dictate your energy. All right, number 2, get honest about money. Pull out every bill, every balance, every overdue notice. Add it up. Don't leave anything hidden. If you can't pay it all today, at least face the number. Make a written plan for exactly what you'll do next, whether it's canceling a subscription, calling a creditor, or cutting off someone who's draining you financially. All right, 3, Bring one domain into full order. Do you know what I mean? Choose a single domain of your life, like your kitchen, your desk, your inbox, and don't stop until it's completely in order. You're going to love how you feel. No piles left for later. No good enough for now, half done thing. Finish it all the way. And once one area is solid, the energy it frees up spills into everything else. Number 4, confront what you've been avoiding at work. Make that call. Finish that project. Admit what's late. Clear the backlog, even if you have to work a weekend. Every hour you avoid these tasks, chaos is growing. Every one you finish is like lifting a weight you didn't realize you were carrying. Number 5, stop hiding behind frantic energy and busyness. Look at your day. What's the one thing you've been postponing while you run in circles with easier tasks? Do the hard one first. Break the shield of busyness, and the rest of your efforts actually start to count. These are not little tweaks, and each one breaks a piece of the cycle that keeps women stuck in chaos, and each one frees energy that you've been bleeding away for years. Now, if you want a serious intervention to stop all that wheel spinning and open the channel of awareness in your mind about what is really important and what your next steps should be, the strongest method I ever found was the set of techniques that I call the daily practice. It's deceptively simple, but if you do this twice a day, your whole world can change. It's easy to learn and try. I'll put a link in the second row of the description section below so you can access that right now if you want. And if you take my daily practice course, you'll get invitations from me to come to weekly free Zoom calls where we do the techniques together and I answer questions to help you master it. But here's the thing that is so counterintuitive for those of us who grew up in chaotic families. Order is not the enemy of freedom. It feels like it, right? Like order, it just sounds like so constrictive. Order is the source of freedom. When you strip out the drama, the wasted money, the clutter, the avoidance, what's left is not a boring life. What's left is energy, focus, time to create, time to make things better. So many women don't realize how much strength they actually have because it's all tied up in managing crisis after crisis. The minute you stop feeding the chaos, that strength comes flooding back. And that's when life stops being about surviving the storm and starts being about building what you actually want. You don't get free of chaos by wishing for it. You get free by cutting off the fuel that keeps it alive. The drama, the debt, the avoidance, the indecision, the clutter. Pick one place and end it. Just not halfway, not later, just do it now. When you do, you'll feel the difference immediately. The pressure lifts, the noise dies down, and the energy you've been wasting is back where it belongs, running through your body, lighting up your mind, moving you forward each day. That's the real way out of chaos. Not luck, not waiting for someone to save you, taking the actions that free you, one good step forward after another. If you like this video, I've got one that you're going to love right here, and I'll see you very soon. Decluttering is a powerful re-regulation exercise. You know you should declutter, but you have a lack of power to do it. Not doing it makes all the other problems in your life a little worse.